Get your calculators out, it's time for 7,500, and it's a movie review about a hijacking bagger. It came out in 2019, but in Amazon it says it came out in 2020. But anywhere I look, it says the official release date was like the 26th of December for Germany, but you know what? The final judge of whatever will be put in the title, will it be the 10s? Will it be the 20s decade? I don't know, but when I search into YouTube and I'll see what other people did, that will be my judge. But what are we looking at here? Well, we're going from Paris to Berlin. No, we're actually going from Berlin to Paris. It's the song, but flipped. On IMDb, this got a 6.3. Rotten Tomatoes, it got a 72%. And I can tell, I'll tell you, I'll give you a wee hint to why it got that, because I think it's super woke. And yeah, budget 5 million. So because it's an Amazon exclusive, it's probably never ever gonna. Well, saying that, yeah, it's an Amazon original, so it's never really going to tell you how much it drew. But they actually think that this movie even cost 5 million. I mean, you could have made this movie for about a tenner. See, as long as you could like get a studio that looked like the cockpit of a plane, that's you sort it for this movie. You could have hired any sort of jabroni you could have wanted to, but we're introduced to our pilots. We have got the big man, Tobias. He is our American co-pilot on this Germany to France flight, and then we've got Michael Lutzman. He is the German of this ship. We did kick off the movie as well with like a 5-minute intro of like these guys going to the toilet, and it's like, these guys going to be the hijack. Yeah, exactly. These guys are going to be the hijackers, right? And you know what? It's a very, like the first like 15 minutes is very boring. Like you could say it's a case of getting to know these characters, but it's actually kind of irrelevant getting to know these characters. I'm being honest. Turns out Tobias is going to be getting married to one of the flight attendants by the name of Goshi. She's Turkish. She is also a Muslim. Bear that in mind. And then one of the other flight attendants like, what do you want? And like, we'll just take a bottle of water or a wee sandwich. So that's what we've got to enjoy. There's 2 passengers that are late, but they've actually got nothing going for them. So yeah, it was like zero purpose here in this, to be honest. It was just a wee bit of drama. Oh, is the plane going to be late? But then as we take off, the flight attendant comes back with the sandwiches and the water, and then as they open the cockpit door, that is when the hijackers strike. I believe we've got 4 hijackers on a plane filled with like 85 people, right? And all they're using are broken bits of glass. I'm sorry. How can 4 people over, like, I mean, I know it happened in real life. It's not like this movie's completely unrealistic. Like, I guess it's based off of like an actual incident in 2005 or something, but I don't get. I mean, at least like during like the 9/11 attacks, you had those people in the plane. I think it crashed over Philadelphia or something. They actually fought back and crashed the plane. That's what should be happening, man. See, unless they've like even if they do have a gun, you've got to do something. But even that they would never really be able. It makes more sense that they'd probably be able to get a bomb on in those days rather than a gun, because that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But here, one of the guys, I believe Hopper is his name, he bursts into the cockpit. He stabs the pilot about 10 times. And during all this, our co-pilot Tobias can't even like fight the guy off. Like, I know he's dealing with the door, but actually with the pilot guy's getting stabbed with these broken bits of glass. So he managed to get the door shut, and then Tobias manages to fight the other guy off. But the pilot, we think he's going to live, but then he dies of blood loss. What a jobber, man! Just gets stabbed like 5 times and dies. But like the bluntest bit of glass you'll ever see in your life, but is what it is. So big Michael Lutzman is the first man to go. Then the hijackers are demanding that Tobias open the door. Tobias did take an arm injury throughout this. He got a wee slash or a stab. To be honest, it doesn't really matter, man. He's a man. You should fucking deal with it. They bring up this student guy, who it might have been the guy that was late to the plane. Maybe that's why they did that. They're like, oh, look, here's this guy that we're not really going to give a massive bit of development to. But here he is, guys. Here he is. So they're threatening this guy's life. Tobias is like, can't do that. And then, like, obviously you've got air traffic control coming through to him. They're like, protocol, you can't open the door to hijackers. But absolutely fair enough, because once you open the door to the hijackers, it becomes, rather than like 85 hostages, it becomes like, if they smash into like a public building, albeit it's at night, but what, like, they could hit, a massive parliament building, they could hit like any sort of landmark, man. Smash into the centre of Berlin, smash into the centre of Paris. They could do whatever they fucking want here, right? They really could. So he ties up the guy who broke into the cockpit, and here after a 10 count, he turns off the camera. He doesn't want to watch the student get killed. And then he's like, they've just killed a hostage. So that's fair enough, because he's not really going to open the door for this guy, right? But then they bring up a flight attendant, of course. Turns out to be his wife. And then it's at this point, he's like, oh, they've got a woman. Passengers, they've got a woman. You need to help. You need to get up there and attack. And at this point, it's free on 84, because you've got one of the the hijackers is in the cockpit. He's not really doing anything. And then you've got the other three at this point. So I don't, and they're only using broken bits. And then he actually, Tobias comes over the radio and says, here, they've only got broken bits of glass, you can do it. And then, like, once the hijacker guy threatens to kill the woman, like, the other passengers back off, right? Which I think's stupid, albeit, right? They don't want to see her die, right? So maybe you could argue that, but then it just gets ridiculous. Tobias then, like, starts moving the plane side to side, and, like, the shite baggiest motion of all time. And then the hijacker has enough after this, and then just kills his wife, and he just sits there and accepts it. See, if it was me, right? See if your family member's getting threatened here. Why not, like, absolutely, like, start sending the plane in all these mad motions, man, zigzagging, barrel rolls, whatever you can do in this big bastard jet. He doesn't do enough here. I'm sorry, right? His wife gets killed. He starts greeting, because of course he does, because that's just the way the cookie crumbles, if we're being honest here. And then Tobias, things aren't looking good for him, if we're being honest. And then eventually we get to the point where the door ends up getting opened, because the guy that he ended up kidnapping, well, I say kidnapping, like tying up in the cockpit, one of the hijackers, he wakes up and he overpowers Tobias, man. The guy's just lost his wife and he's no willing to fight to the death here. Fucking card he is. And then this guy opens the door, lets in for that. Meanwhile, all this is going on. The rest of the passengers kill Keenan and what's the other guy? Hopper, I believe, the bald terrorist. So the passengers are battering them. Again, it's just stupid. Like, how can these people wait this long? See, as soon as a hijacking hat, like, as soon as you've got to act fast, man, you just get to the back of the plane. It's like they're fucking threatening you with, like, assault rifles. They've got bits of glass, man. Come on. You might get stabbed once or twice, but 80 against 3? Come on, do the math. Fadat gets in. He then gets told by the other guy to kill Tobias, but he can't bring himself to kill Tobias. And then he actually ends up stabbing the other guy because he threatens to, like, crash the plane. So at this point, we've realistically just got Tobias and Fadat in the cockpit. And you know what? This is where the movie, if you had any sort of faith in it, goes absolutely downhill, because you've got a terrorist, a hijacker, albeit he's not exactly like the other ones. He does seem like he's been roped into it, but he's still a terrorist, and he's still, like, you know, he's still been a part of your wife's murder and your friend, the pilot's murder. And Tobias bottles any attempt to kill him here. He hesitates and doesn't do it. And then at the end of the movie, when we land in Hanover, Fadat's demanding more fuel, but the police are like doing the negotiations, so like, oh, it's going to take longer than that. So Fadat, like, grabs Tobias, puts the glass up against him, and then, like, the German police, the SS, whatever you want to call them, they shoot Fadat, and then Tobias freaks out. It's like, we need a doctor, and, like, Fadat's, like, choking on his own blood. We need a doctor now. So hold on, this guy's just been a part of a plot, right? That almost got you killed your wife to be, killed your friend, the pilot, and you're trying to save his fucking life. How woke's that, man? Come on. See if this was fucking legit. This Tobias guy, as soon as he had the opportunity to kill the Fadat guy, when he had a bit of glass, he'd have shoved the fuck clean out of his neck. Oh, but not everyone's a killer. Oh, come on. He killed your wife, and slit her fucking throat. And you heard her screaming, you were greeting about it, and what, you're just supposed to sit there and take that? Oh, but we're supposed to sympathise with these hijackers? Get to fuck. This movie was a complete waste of time, but it's no surprise that the ratings, I mean, I'm not saying a 6.3 by IDMB is the end all be all, but it's no surprise that because it kind of had like a sympathetic view towards like the hijackers. It's no surprise that the rating got bumped up a wee bit. But anyway, guys, I'm going to give this a 0 out of 10. Fucking garbage. Could have been done so much better. But the final act, the final third, where he like refuses to kill him, but he's like trying to save his life. Oh, come on. I mean, you can accept that he's not willing to kill him, but actually trying to openly save his life, dead on.